Welcome to the Escape with Nick and Adam. My name is Nick,
I gotta get home to watch Murder, She Wrote. And I'm Adam.
and some MacGyver and other stuff. Matlock. Matlock's the other one. Matlock. So we are covering Thor Love and Thunder, or as I put in the title for clickbait, Thor Bored and Blunder. Uh, so we're going to cover the movie. Also, we'll cover some of the stuff. One of the things I kind of want to cover is Gore, comic book versus movie. And plus, we got some toys and comics and other stuff to talk about. But, Adam, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Wait, is that all we're. Is that the whole show, or are we going to talk about other stuff too? Or
We can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
okay, because I thought we should bring up the HasLab's fully funded deal.
Sure.
Yeah, talk about that hiss again.
Oh,
But yeah, I just want to make sure we cover that.
yeah. And we totally show prep. It's not like we just stared at each other for 40 minutes and didn't say anything. Oh, wait, that's exactly what we
That's exactly what we did. It's exactly what we did.
So it's
Well,
going
we said.
show prep, or other times is what happens is we get going talking too much, and they're like, "Wait, we should have saved that for the show."
Yep.
Damn it!
Yep. Totally.
There's
true.
there's no in between.
Yeah. So, what did I think of Thor in general?
I'm breaking in my Ninja Turtles mode.
Oh yeah.
Baby, get you some of
Yeah.
that.
Heroes in a half shell and they're green.
Adam, what did you think of Thor: Love and Thunder?
I liked it,
Okay.
but there's a lot of butts in there. I guess I walked in without an expectation. I didn't notice that the jokes were going on too long. I did notice though that there seemed to be a punchline at the end of most of the scenes. And I'm not a fan of that in general, but you know what though? It had adventure, and I think that maybe I just saw it in the right mood or something. I needed a little bit of fun. I still think that Helmsworth and Natalie Portman have good chemistry. I like seeing them together. I like how they cleared up what happened between them. Spoilers, they do. This is going to be a spoiler talk, yeah? Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
If
So
if you don't want the movie spoiled, wait and then watch the show later, and then like and subscribe.
I can tell you there are a couple things, and I'll start talking about them right now at the beginning of the show, and then Nick will say, "Oh, I have that for later." So let's see.
And Adam just I don't know what happened. We lost Adam.
Hello, I mean I'm right
Ah,
here.
hi.
I never left.
Yeah, well, the show disagrees. It just goes, oh, so
I was in the middle of a sentence, and you're like, "Ha ha 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 ha!" I was like, "I guess I'm fired."
I
No.
didn't like that comment that you were about to make. I didn't even let you get a word out.
I know. I guess not. No, but there were things that do bother me, and probably there's one in particular really really sits wrong with me. So that's it. We'll wait.
All right, my turn.
Yes.
All right, I thought it was a hunk of crap, and I did not laugh one single time. The only part that I actually liked was the goats, and then that got very old very quickly because I like screaming goats. I think they're hilarious, but for the love of God, I'm like, not every scene.
Well,
they have
explain
the
this to me.
screaming.
Do they scream all the time?
Yeah, well, that's it's one of those weird, creepy things. Is when goats scream, they scream like humans. They sound like humans when they scream.
Right.
So that's kind of part of the joke. But yeah, when they once or twice, ha ha ha, like literally every single scene they're in, they're just screaming and being obnoxious. I'm just holy crap. Okay, like even me, who like that's one of my favorite things on the planet. I'm like, can we get past the screaming bleeping goats? Gee.
All right, I'll buy that with you. But there is one time, there is one time when that silly stupid joke really landed,
No,
and that was when they were on the boat and it lands on Zeus's lawn or whatever, and
Yeah.
it lands and like, ah! And I'm
No,
like, what is this shit?
that
You know?
that is one of the things where I'm just like, okay. I was like I said, I love Screaming Ghosts. I think it's hilarious, but like, talk about like a joke just like too far. It's like, holy
Yeah,
moly.
yeah,
Um, a couple issues I have, and this is slightly personal, but not at all personal to me because I think there's lots of people who have been affected by cancer. But I hate when, hey, we're going to make you really care about this character because we're going to give them cancer. And I'm just like, go bleep yourself. Go,
okay. I
go,
mean,
go bleep yourself because like I said, I've lost people close to me. I know, and I am not, unfortunately, I'm not alone in that respect. Where I know a lot of people have been affected by cancer. I was like, and when they start using that as a plot device, like I immediately, like walls go up, and I immediately go, you better handle this very tactfully, or go screw yourself.
right, right. Well, they didn't make that up for the movie, though.
No, but
Okay.
it's from the. I know it's from the comics, and it's one of those things.
I'm not saying
But
it's
it's
okay one way or another. I just want to make
no,
sure you point the gun in the right spot.
no, and yeah, because we talked about it before. Because you did you read the Jane Foster comic line when she's Thor?
No.
Okay, because I know you know more about Thor, and I know you know more about the storyline than I do. But it is one of those things where, yeah, it's once you start using cancer as a plot device, I don't care if it's comics, I don't care what it is, just standard television. I'm immediately going to be like, okay, the, you better not just be using cancer as a plot device to make me care about the character. So,
Yeah. Well, okay. Cool.
and I do not care for that stuff, and and there's it's one of those things. The longer I do this show with you, Adam, it's more I realize, man, there's a bunch of shit that just drives me crazy. And I apologize, I'm gonna swear probably more than I should on this one. Um, but like I didn't care for like in Kenobi when they tried to play the post traumatic stress thing and like uh yeah the Underground Railroad thing. I was like, certain things you just don't do that. Don't play around with that. That's certain things you don't play with. I mean, unless it's a documentary or a, a biography on someone, don't use that as a plot device to make me care about your person. Sorry.
Okay. No, no, no. That's cool. I think historical stuff can be immortalized, though. Like
Of course. Yeah.
the Underground Railroad. I think you can do something like that tactful.
Yeah,
You know.
but keep it out of Star Wars.
Okay. Fair enough.
I,
But the,
I
but
I
the
did not.
Empire probably has slaves, right?
The galaxy runs on slaves. Anakin's mom was a slave. That's how it goes.
We'll see.
So
So you need somebody to bail these guys out. That's all
sure.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right. That's enough of the Underground Railroad. God bless the Underground Railroad. I'm grateful that it happened. And yeah, I guess you're right. Keep it out of Star Wars. Um, I have a little indifference to it. I guess I understand where you're coming from on the disease front, but the how wait what else? Oh, okay. Star Wars at the Underground Railroad. That's where we came in, and we're not here to talk about Star Wars. So there we go.
Oh, no, but so that being said, man, because even my wife does not read the comics. She doesn't care about. She likes the MCU. That's about it. She's a nerd, and it's one of the reasons I love her because she's like, oh, something nerdy. We're gonna go see it, right? I'm like, yeah. Um, that being said, I probably made the calculated error to read the Gore the God Butcher before this movie, and I really thought like when it first started, I was like, oh, they're actually gonna do this somewhat properly, and then I was very quickly like, oh no, they're just gonna.
Let me tell you how I saw that. First of all, I saw it when they cast Christian Bale, and I went, "What? This is kind of like a small movie for this guy." You know, I mean, we all know what an MCU villain is and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, Taika Waititi's doing it again. So I was not pumped to see him as Gore the God Butcher. Would I have liked to see him as Gore the God Butcher in a serious take on that story? Yes. Because Christian Bale was very clearly not in the same movie as everyone else.
I was listening to a couple other shows, and they put it where it's like he essentially played like 3 different versions of the character throughout the movie, and I'm like, yeah, or there's, and not to say, it's on bail, but it's just one of those things you can just tell there's just different tones. Like you said, he's on a different level, or he's just in a completely different mindset than everybody else was.
He's just acting better than everyone in the picture.
Yes.
He's taking it seriously.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, Christian Bale and Russell Crowe, I think it's fair to say, are about an even level of talent. Well, you see, Russell Crowe did not look very talented in that role. He was having fun.
Right. And that's part of the problem that, like I said, so we have, the main premise of the movie is one of the main characters has cancer, and then the other is destroying all gods and trying to essentially take away people's faith.
Right.
But it's a comedy. Like, what? Like, and that was one of those things where there are some really serious dark parts in it that should have been, real dramatic scenes, but like you said, and man, just so many jokes just cramming, like coming at you, machine gun. I'm just like, you got it. That was a dramatic moment. Let it be dramatic. If you have a sad moment, let it be sad. Let's let the scene breathe just a little bit. Be like, nope, we got to have Corrigan there, and he's talking about how he's talking about how you make babies out of the rock babies, and it's like, and then you got Natalie Portman coming out and saying this is the gayest MCU movie ever, and I'm just like, that's not. Personally, it's not why people go to see these movies.
Why did she say that? I can't remember. Why?
Because you had King Valkyrie, you had Korg, and him essentially retconning how the babies are made for, I forget the name of the alien race, but Korg's race, they make babies with 2 males, and I'm just like, are we doing this? And then, and I didn't even think of this because I don't have kids. And you've got Zeus going on about an orgy, and it's like, who the hell is this movie for? Like, this is Disney. This is what a Disney product is nowadays. I'm like, guys, like, what the hell are you doing? You got Russell Crowe doing his best, Greek Coney Island restaurant owner, or party store owner. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell is this?
Well, given everything the two of us have said, let's leave it up to the audience, whoever eventually listens, or whoever is watching now, currently, however you ingest this podcast. Thank you. Who do you think will be invited to the orgy based on what we've said tonight? Me or Nick? Da-dun.
Yeah, it's and that
you're not getting invited to the orgy, dude. You better start kissing some ass.
The funny part is, Adam is quoting the movie right now.
I am.
That is a quote directly from the movie, from Zeus in the movie. And I'm just like, is this movie going to make little kids and parents have a conversation about what the hell Zeus was talking about later?
Well, yeah, how about when his clothes got ripped away and all the girls are like, oh.
All the guys and the girls and the guys were, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, don't even get me started on the equality. If that were a female character, that had been, traumatic.
They addressed that. We'll take your clothes. No. Leave my clothes right here. Leave my clothes right here.
Yeah, I'm just like, holy jeez. But, yeah, I didn't care for it. It was too jokey. If you liked Thor Ragnarok, you may have liked this movie. If you did not like Thor Ragnarok, you are going to hate this movie.
I think I figured out where my like in this movie came from, and it's that I just didn't give a shit about it being good one way or another. So when I saw it, I was fine.
I did my best to go in there, but I tried my best, and ever since, I don't know, since Blade or maybe Starship Troopers, I've always tried to go in like low, like 0 expectations, so that at least I can pull something good from the movie. Yeah. And this, I was just like, all the people are laughing. I was like, this isn't. It was not hitting with me. None of the jokes hit with me. I did not laugh one single time. The only time I smiled was with the goats when they first brought the goats in.
I
Like,
thought that was interesting. See, I saw Thor: The Dark World and I liked it. I
right.
thought it was a damn good movie. And Thor, the first movie, is one of my favorite MCU movies. So when Ragnarok came
Be-
out, I had an expectation.
because that's a Thor movie. Because that was Thor, comic
Thor,
book Thor.
right? I had all these times. Then I see Ragnarok, and I had such a letdown. Ragnarok made this movie enjoyable for me on a first viewing. Everything you're saying is right. It is a heaping pile of shit, but that heaping pile of shit was entertaining and funny. But to me, it's not really. To me, it's more of a parody of an MCU movie inside the MCU.
Yeah, it seems like something like an airplane esque. Like
Right.
we we are going so far overboard with some of these topics that we're like, I'm like you said, almost like, is this a bleeping parody of? Yeah, is this what are the scary movie? Yeah, it's like a scary movie, except it's a Marvel scary movie. I was like, what are we? Just too many
Well,
times. There's just too many times where because I went, like I said, I went to go see the movie with my wife, and usually while we're at the movies, we actually we still like each other, so we hold hands. And
good.
there's just too many times where I'm like, I'd let my wife say, "Go," I just be like, do this, like what what is that? What are you doing?
Right.
And there was a few of those where I'm just like, why was that a thing? Why are you doing that? And it was just like, oh, because we're trying to make a joke. It's like, oh, for sakes, like not every scene has to be a freaking joke.
They couldn't. Well, that's but his dad was Helmdale. I was gonna say they couldn't pull off the people praying to Thor thing, so they used the kid to kind of be like, "Thor, are you listening?"
Well, and that's the thing. Like, what would have been such a nice moment in that movie is showing Thor being a good god. Like that little scene in the comics where he sits down with a little girl and answers, her prayer. Like
Right.
that would have been such a nice moment, like towards the beginning of the film to show Thor being a good god versus all the other shit gods that, and that's it. Look, I know it's a comic book and I know it's there strictly for reference material and I know it's not meant to be taken frame for frame. Um, I mean, just the whole start where he Gore never believed in the gods. That's why when he found out that there was gods, that was more an impactful thing instead of him being a person of faith and then kind of realizing that the gods were shit. I was like, I don't like how they flipped that parallel where I mean, how frustrated would you be to be like, oh no, I don't believe in gods, and be like, no, there's gods out there. They just don't want to. They're just not answering your prayers.
I
And
didn't pick up on the fact that he didn't believe before. His wife was a big believer.
his wife was the person of faith in the family, and then it was kind of he was kind of not really, and then the
Lukewarm.
yeah the way I took it in the comics was he was much more agnostic to the fact, and then kind of once his wife died, then
Right.
when his wife and kid died, spoiler in the comics, um, then his kind of faith in the gods went with that, and then once it got the battling gods crashing from him, he's like, he's like, wait, you're real, and you're just I thought that was a little more interesting, and then I didn't. I know you can't make. I know you can't really introduce a symbiote into the MCU right now, but that's
Yeah, that's
what
airy.
I say. I know that would be a little bit like that might blow too many people's minds, or maybe that gets people excited for more Spider-Man. I don't know, but I just didn't like how the weapon was just a sword. Yeah, this is a sword, and that's how everything's done.
Right now there's no official announcement. Here we go talking about Spider-Man. Here's an interesting topic. Right now there's no official announcement on the next Spider-Man movies. I know that there is a trilogy they'd like to plan. Tom Holland hasn't committed all that kind of stuff. There is a possibility we've seen the last of Tom Holland's any Spider-Man in
Yep.
the MCU. I mean, we could see tons of Spider-Man in Sony, but we might not see any Spider-Man ever again in the MCU because why? You don't need him to fight Thanos.
Nope. Well, and that's part of the problem with this Phase 4. Where does anybody have any idea what's going on?
Well, yeah, and then Kang the Conqueror was supposed to be some big deal. I haven't heard shit about him.
Yeah, and then with the next Guardians movie, we're going to have Adam Warlock, and I go, why? At this point, why?
Right. What are you going to have him do?
Yeah, it's like, what's the point at this point in the game? Why? That was literally almost. It feels like a decade ago. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when
The
Guardians
Marvel
2 came out, but just like there's so many things that were left like twisting in the wind that was kind of introduced and not promised, but it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go this way, and then never did anything with that.
Guardians of the Galaxy, you mean?
Right. Yeah, Guardians Volume 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I call it, or I've heard people call it, Marvel Phase Bore, and I kind of agree with that. But at the same time, you got to think about it too. This Phase 4 had just launched in 2021.
Yeah,
so it's just over a year old.
Yeah, but it's stuff that we've talked about before, where once you realize what they were doing with the Avengers, like you could see the blueprint.
Sure.
Like, you could see like everything's. Oh, we're literally building this,
Yeah.
and now we did the, Infinity Gauntlet, and now we're like, now what are we doing? And everybody's like, oh no, there's a plan. I was like, no plan, guys. There's no plan right now. Not that I see. I mean, unless Kevin Feige is completely, going to pull a rabbit out of his wherever he's going to pull it. I don't see the plan. I don't even see a semblance of a plan. So
right. All right. So what else you got on this this hot mess that is actually quite good? Okay, this is how I will put it.
Okay.
It was the best stupid movie I have seen in a while.
Yeah. Where would you put this so far? Because I've heard people say that this is of Phase 4, as much of a whatever you want to call it. This was one of the better movies of Phase 4. What would you say that?
I mean, I hope it just stands alone.
Right.
I want to see the shenanigans leaking in everywhere else. But yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Let's talk about some of the shenanigans, first of all.
All right.
Like, at the end, once again, spoilers, the big battle scene. So, Gore, he kidnaps all the Asgardian kids.
Sure.
And then Thor...
This is what I don't like. See? This was it, guys. This is it.
Thor imbues them with the power the power of Thor temporarily. And then we have this whole kick-ass scene with the kids battling the Gore's creatures. And I'm just like...
They're all little Thors.
You have fun with that one. You have fun.
I fucking hated it. That's all.
Because it's stupid. That retcons all of the MCU. You be like, oh, he could do this the whole time. Why didn't he do this?
Why didn't he do this against Thanos?
Every single battle that they've ever been in. Right. And it's also one of those things like, hey, just because you give kids weapons doesn't mean they can fight. You don't give little kids a sword and then just assume they can kill things. They're probably going to hurt themselves.
They're Asgardians.
She was killing things with a rabbit, with a bunny rabbit. She goes,
who was?
Well, the kid, I don't know her name.
She was killing things with a bunny rabbit. Yeah, I mean, that scene happened so fast. But, good for her. Yeah. She saved the world. She saved the universe.
We're like, oh, you're Asgardians, which I was like, that doesn't mean, like, just because you're a kid, you can fight. That bugged me.
I tend to think the Asgardians are a little bit like the Amazons, right? I mean, they train and shit.
Plus, they showed them training more at the end, but they didn't show, like, any semblance of training because you know what they turned New Asgard into? Freaking Disneyland, essentially. They freaking corporatized Asgard, so they made everything a freaking either like a sideshow tourist attraction. They had the infinity cones.
Yeah.
Like it's a freaking. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is everything that's wrong with Disney, and they just like meme themselves. They took something like cool and they like corporatized it and just try to make a dollar out of it. I was like, you realize like you just everything that the fans have complained about with Disney buying Marvel and Star Wars, and you literally just made fun of yourself because that's exactly what you did. You took these like cool, like sacred things and you made it corporate and you made it ugly and you made it stupid.
Maybe they're comfortable being the butt of the joke.
I hope so because that's the way I took it. I was like, oh, look, you did exactly what
It was
you.
a joke.
Oh, I know. And I
Yeah.
get it. But at the same time, it's like,
But it's a joke that's canon.
it's-
That's the problem.
that's the
That's the
problem.
problem. See, that should have been an SNL skit.
Yes.
Welcome to New Asgard. Would you like to ride this roller coaster or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I liked I liked the pieces of Milner and the hammer being on display. That looked Smithsonian to me. That was cool.
Well,
I thought
that looked like reverence being given to this immortal weapon.
Yeah, an immortal weapon that has seen battles in different times, dimensions, all this stuff, but did play a very key role in saving the lives of all the people on that planet.
Yeah, and look, okay, once again, I'm not going to claim to be any type of Thor expert, but can Thor just imbue power to a weapon, or was something?
I don't know.
Is that Odin something that Odin was supposed to do, or the King of Asgard, which is now Valkyrie?
I don't know.
See, because
know.
that's part of the. So anybody who hasn't seen the movie, the reason that the hammer, because once we find the hammer in the movie, it's in pieces still from Hela.
Yeah.
And so it's not until Jane walks up to it and it reassembles and she can wield the hammer because during, golly, the stupid freaking couples montage that went on way too freaking long. When he's sitting there and he tells the hammer to, always protect her and watch out for her, it's like, I didn't know that was a thing.
I thought that was cool. Well, yeah, that was a thing. I connected it to the first movie right away. Don't you remember? Whoever shall be worthy enough to lift this hammer shall have the power of Thor.
Right.
And that symbol came up. He didn't know what he was...
it was engraved. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing. He knew what he was saying. He just didn't know what he was doing when that happened.
And
that I thought was fucking cool. I was like, oh, you dope.
Well, that's other God. Thor is such a moron in this movie. He's just dumb. He's a whiny baby. He's like, and it's in the trailer where, how long has it been since I've seen it? It's been like 8 years, 7 days, and 36 minutes. Oh, but who's counting? It's like, oh, you're such a sappy bitch. Like, I don't like that. I was like, you're supposed to be the god of freaking thunder, not the, oh, I'm pouting over this girl that I'm in love with. Like, bitch, no, you're not in love with her. You're just, like in the comics, you're just another conquest. But yeah, I said it.
This is coming from a married man who's his true love's right outside the other door.
She's on the other side of the.
And then there's guys like us who have loved and lost, so we know where Thor's coming from. He's got a common frame of reference. Mr. Belvedere over here thinks that it's better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Well, I'm gonna quote Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black.
You just called me Mr. Belvedere.
Try it. I couldn't think of something else.
I've never been shit on by a girl.
Hitting around.
You called me a butler.
I don't know why I said Belvedere. I heard Mr. Belvedere in something earlier. Oh, was that video we were watching about Arby's? Mr. Belvedere.
I don't know.
You called me Mr. Belvedere.
Anyway, so
any other Belvederes out there?
He's a bit of a sappy girl.
No, you're right. He is. He's a
and
mess.
He's got a weird relationship with the weapons where I thought it was uncomfortable. Not only does he care for the weapons too much, the weapons care back. Like there's scenes with Stormbreaker where he's like looking at the hammer, Mjolnir too long, and then Stormbreaker comes along and like it's looking at him. It's like, what are you looking at? And I'm just like,
Right. That's
and
Taika.
that's Taika. That's the ha 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 the jealous axe. The axe is jealous. Why?
That's something that you do on set as a joke.
Yeah, that. Hey, like
That's a blooper
but
reel.
but no, that's an ongoing thing in this movie.
Now
Like
I could
4 or
make
5 times.
I could have made that cool when he was sitting there looking at Mjolnir and he tried to
There's
call
a
it to
ton
it.
of there's so many there's so many things that you could have made cooler in this movie, but he corned it up so stupidly. I was like, that's just stupid. I hate that scene. Sorry, I
Yeah,
said that a
well,
lot during the movie.
but then you could have had Stormbreaker come to him when he was trying to call Mjolnir.
Yeah, dude, there's so many different ways to like, but also like, man,
Or
I
just
am
not
not
even make it like that.
I am not a comedian, but when a joke has gone too far.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to know when a joke is no longer funny, or when you're the only one who thinks it's funny still. And there's so many stupid instances like that with, the relationship that he has with Stormbreaker. Oh, the freaking goats. Like I said, and I love goats, but golly, like every single time they're screaming like crazy. And it's like, geez. And then we get to what do they call it? The pantheon of the where the orgy's gonna happen. Yeah. No. Where all the gods are gathered.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
What was that
Anyway,
called?
uh
It was golden.
not Eternia. That's wrong. That's the wrong one.
It's not Eternia.
But there's a pantheon of gods, and they've got Zeus, who's supposed to be the coolest god, and they sneak in. The stupid, I'm just going to cover my face, like that joke. Okay, that's another throwback to Thor Ragnarok because he just threw something over his face. And then Valkyrie shows up with real costumes or real disguises, but I was like, holy crap. And he fanboys over Zeus like so hard, where I was like, that could have been funny. That could have been like kind of funny, but once again, geez, just take the stupid jokes too far.
Or he could have not made it a joke at all. He still could have met Zeus, and he could have been like, Zeus is the mightiest of all gods, and this and that, blah 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 blah. Could have gave him some credit and just been like that. And then when Zeus turned him down, you know, after acknowledging that he's, one of the mightiest of all the gods or whatever, the mighty Thor is not afraid of anyone, that kind of stuff, Could have made it so testosterone pumped, man. That's the problem right there. See, you walk out of that movie and you're like, man, there wasn't enough testosterone in that movie.
Well, here's at the end of when we sat through and watched all the credit scenes and everything, literally I had like a guy behind me say, what the fuck was that? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, you're not wrong, man. Not wrong at all.
No.
So, and just the whole scene where could he have been more stereotypically Greek? Like, he literally, like,
he is spooky like this.
And when he comes down the stairs, he prances holds his skirt. I'm just like,
skirt. That was funny.
Damn,
that was funny.
That was.
You know why that was funny? Because they did wear skirts like that, and they did dress kind of like that. It's not the same as showing Stormbreaker showing up like a jealous girlfriend or something. That was kind of funny, but he didn't have to prance. You're right.
No, because he did. He pranced. That was like, okay, cool. And then, and I don't understand. So in the world of Thor, being able to wield Mjolnir is so special. It's sacred. Such a sacred. But anybody can wield the thunderbolt of Zeus at any time. Like it's supposed to be like the coolest, most, he literally fanboyed. He's like, that's thunderbolt, and it's like he throws the thunderbolt all around. And he's like, oh, it's like, and then But anybody can just pick that bad boy up and use it. Like, you don't nothing special about using Thunderbolt, but you can't
Well,
pick up the
you can't make everything Excalibur, man.
hammer. But that's they built up Zeus so much, and then you kill him
Just to tear him down.
just just to turn out he's a piece of crap, and then and then the most mighty weapon that he's got. Yeah, anybody can pick this thing up and throw it around and blah 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 blah. King Valkyrie can use it. Oh, okay, way to make it not at all special. Like you didn't have to learn how to use the thing at all. You just grabbed it and you're like, oh, it's like a thing. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's cool. I can do this.
I guess I didn't pick up on that. I was too busy just, I mean,
because it becomes an integral part in the story later. Because like that turns out to be the only reason they get there, and they're like, yeah, got this Thunderbolt thing. No big deal. Cool.
No big deal.
Yes, and then once again, spoilers. Turns out Zeus isn't nearly as cool as fanboy Thor thought he was, and ends up killing him with his own Thunderbolt at the end. And that's the other thing. I was like, you're literally battling Gore, the God Butcher, but you kill one of the top gods.
Okay, it was battle, dude.
Okay. Okay. It's just like, this movie makes no sense.
And that's why it's funny.
That's because it doesn't make sense. That's why it's.
If you like, so okay. So let's say maybe you like Weird Al's Amish Paradise better than Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise, but Amish Paradise is obviously the parody, but it's your jam. You pump to it. You like it. You're like, I'll clean the barn on Monday, all that kind of stuff. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. The Weird Al version of Gangsta's Paradise, only it's Amish Paradise.
Yes,
but
it's
called
parody.
Thor Love and Thunder.
The way the two movies are sandwiched, so you actually have Thor, and then you've got the parody of Thor in Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. If you love those movies, awesome, because we went with our couple friends. They enjoyed it. They came. My friend's boyfriend came to me later. He's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" I was like, "I really wish I had not read the comic books before I came and saw this." He's like, "Not close." I was like, "Not even a little." So, if you are a fan of the Gore the God Butcher storyline and you think you're going to get something anywhere close, no.
All right. I would like to steal a topic from another podcaster. Kitka, hello. She just sprung up out of nowhere.
Was that an earthquake? Are you safe?
I know, right? No, that was my cat.
Oh.
I don't know what she's chasing, but what was I talking about? Yeah, she's chasing.
Stealing a topic from another show.
Anyways, yeah, I'm stealing a topic from another show, which is kind of on board with ours. It's the John Campia podcast. He's got a little clip pulled out of his show, and the clip is titled
just a little YouTube channel.
Well, he started it out as a little one. It's huge now. 7 point. Anyways, neither here nor there. He's come up through AMC, Collider, all that stuff. This is his headline for his 9-minute and 14-second clip. It says Taika Waititi says he'd direct Thor 5, but should he? Now, should he?
No. Well, all right. I have to take that. I have to rescind that because once again, if I had any inclination as to which way this Phase 4 was going and the importance of Thor in that Phase 4, right now I've got no idea where this Phase 4 is going. I have no idea what the storyline is. I don't even know why this movie was made because that's part of the thing. Like I said, if we knew, we were getting somewhere, but these last few movies, we're not getting anywhere. We're just spinning our wheels in a rudderless ship. We're just spinning, and we've got no idea where we're going. For the most part, I don't even know if we've left. I don't know if we've gone anywhere. I don't know where we're at. Um,
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about getting off the boat, man.
yeah, yeah, I, I, well, and here's the problem because the next installment of the MCU is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and the only reason I say unfortunately because that is basically, and this is me strictly guessing, spitballing, it's gonna be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman as well. It somewhat should be in a way,
Sure.
but I also don't think that's going to do anything for this universe. Um, you know, hot take. I think Black Panther is one of the more overrated movies in the MCU, and if it's basically going to be a tribute, which, like I said, it should be. He was not only a great actor, but by all intents, a great person. I just don't see Black Panther leading the way to advance the storyline in any way. I could be 100% wrong. That is just me knowing next to nothing about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Uh,
Well, that's the thing. It's not, you could have a Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but as far as advancing this goes, I don't know what this is about. I don't. You could. I don't know. I don't need to know what Black Panther Wakanda Forever is about. In fact, I may see that one because I did like Black Panther, uh, and I've kind of always been a fan. Anyways, long story short, but at least I knew that in Phase One, at least I knew that the whole idea was to have an Avengers movie.
right.
I knew that after everything started doing well, and they had an Avengers movie, and they revealed a big bad. Now, is that what's going on here? Are we waiting for the Young Avengers movie, and then they're going to reveal the big bad? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of young characters, like young teenage type characters, and all that kind of stuff, and sidekicks coming up. So are they going to do the Young Avengers? I don't know. Maybe. Are they going to do West Coast Avengers? East Coast Avengers? Because those are all options. Those are all on the table.
Adam, I don't even think the average fan knows what you're talking about. That doesn't even know that there's more than one Avenger team.
Well, a lot of people didn't know about the Avengers either.
Right. Well, that's
You know,
why I
you
say your built-in normie audience doesn't realize there's a West Coast, East Coast Avenger
right.
or Young Avengers or any other type of Avengers. They know the Avengers that they've been introduced to so far.
Okay, so if you're not doing that, and we're not doing X-Men, and so far it doesn't look like we're going to put together the Fantastic Four, which, you know what would have been a good idea? Here's a good fucking idea to start your Phase 4. You could keep your WandaVision, and you can mess with your... No, it's all gone. It all goes out the door. And this is why. You pick the Fantastic Four, you pick all new people to build an all new section of the Marvel Universe with. And yes, you can connect it by having the guest stars, and then maybe in Phase 5 you could have had your WandaVision and all that stuff. You should have built something with new characters, because you could. There's no reason in the world you couldn't. You could put a Fantastic Four movie together, and then who else do we got? Who else do we have?
Well, and let's back up for 1 second because one of the big fan choices for Reed Richards was John Krasinski, and a
Yeah.
lot of people were not happy with his very limited, very short portrayal of Reed Richards in that in Wanda.
Well,
Or I'm sorry, it was Doctor Strange too.
be careful what you wish for, right?
Well, yeah, I would say a lot of fans that he showed up were like, "Yep, never mind."
Right. And they all want Emily Blunt as their Invisible Woman, who I want as.
Well, I would say I'm okay with Emily Blunt being in anything. So.
Yeah, but Emily Blunt kind of looks like the Invisible Woman.
She sure does, and if she keeps her accent, I don't care.
She sure does. So okay, so who else is on the table? We've got the Fantastic Four. You can't say who else. What other characters are on the table that you can build a universe with besides side characters?
No, because the only thing that makes sense is the Fantastic Four, because if you have the Fantastic Four, you already have a built-in villain. And he's one of the best villains who has barely even been referenced to.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, but you don't need to build up to a Fantastic Four movie, but you can
No.
introduce the Fantastic Four in their own movie, use the villain you're talking about, but then your next movie, just like with Iron Man, the next movie was the Hulk. So who else do we have on deck? Who could we use for the next movie? And then after that was Iron Man, was Thor, and then Captain America. So all these guys got all these individual movies, and then we had the Avengers came together for the Avengers. So who's on the table for these individual movies? We're a year and a half deep into this, and I don't see it.
Honestly, my limited knowledge of the Marvel universe, because once you get outside of you know, your main your ex people, once you get outside Fantastic Four, once you get outside the Avengers, what do you have?
You know what? You
that
just
that
said it
that,
right there.
that, that people would even remotely recognize.
They needed to lead this off by just saying, yes, we're in a world where Tony Stark and Captain America and the Infinity this and all of it happened, and it's everything. We're in this world. But now we're going to tell the story of the Fantastic Four. And now we're going to tell the story of the X-Men. And now we're going to, and it could all lead up to them teaming up again.
And you could do it so easily, and you wouldn't even have to do the multiverse thing, because you know what you do? You start it in the 60s. You start in the 60s, and you can build up from, and you can, and you know,
Yeah, but they tried that.
With what? The
Origins one.
Oh, well, I don't care about that. Well, here's the problem. When you do stuff, you have to do it well. And that's part of the problem.
No,
overall, with Disney in general, is the quality. And that's one of the things I do want to get into is, sorry, sidebar for just 1 second. So this movie made just inside what its projection was to be. And that was the lower projection. This movie made over just 142 million this weekend. I'm really intrigued to see what type of legs this movie has and see what type of drop off there is. Because if it is significant, like I think it's going to be, this is potentially going to be another Disney flop in back-to-back movies with Buzz Lightyear. And if this movie doesn't, I think I saw, or I was listening to one show where they were talking about where this movie's got to make about 600 million to 650 million just to break even. If this movie makes over 700 total, I'll be surprised. Because this is definitely not a $1 billion movie, which is what Disney has been used to producing, where, hey, you slap Marvel on it, you throw some characters in there, people know, and next thing you know, you're just raking in dough. That's not happening anymore.
Well, that's because the quality's gone down. Yes, you are very much right. It has. Quality has gone down. But my little epiphany that I had was, you see either way with the MCC, if we're going to do this, let's just say we're the brothers, we're the Nick and Adam team that's going to direct this. You got a lot of obstacles to get over, so this is why I wouldn't do it in the 60s, because how are you going to explain mutants popping up in the 60s and all that kind of stuff and throughout history, and then all of a sudden superheroes are totally accepted? That's no problem. So I would think that you could use like the radiation of the snap or something like that, or something was responsible. Cosmic rays gave the Fantastic Four their powers. Maybe they were in space when the snap happened, something like that. And then the mutation happened along the same way, whatever. But you got to find a way to make them coincide.
No, and I understand, but getting back to the point of, would doing it in the 60s work? Where I think it would work because the first Captain America was in the 40s. So I don't know why they can't do a period piece, at least maybe not the 60s, but at least a little bit earlier, where and where maybe not built it up, but and let's be honest, it's not like the Marvel universe has been retconned all over the place. So if you want to retcon and then if you want to, fine, we can work in the multiverse into all that, and then we can say, hey, the original MCU, that's not the 616, but this is the 616. It's like, Okay, we can
Mm,
play that game. But
sure.
they have done period pieces before. They have done them correctly. They have done them well. Well, like, obviously, I don't care. I'm not tied to it. It's not my baby. Um, go on.
No, I think a period piece. You want to do the X Men from the start? I'm in. Let's make them all from that era and stuff. I just think that you're in a corner with trying to work them into an existing universe. And yes, you're right. It has been retconned a lot, but here's the thing: like, that's a pretty big fucking retcon. By the way, this has been going on the whole time. Even Captain America knew about it. Help us, Captain America! Oh, wait, you can't come. You're a mutant, son.
Well, and that's one of my
Captain
biggest.
America's racist.
Yeah, yeah. Don't even. That's one of my biggest complaints of the current MCU, where everybody's like, "Oh, you want to be an Avenger like Miss Marvel, the Miss Marvel show." She wants to be an Avenger. I was like, there's so many other teams in the MCU that, and I know why we haven't had any. I know it's all licensing and rights and all that, but I was just like, people act like the Avengers is the only team in the Marvel universe, and that's just simply not true.
Have you noticed how small the Marvel universe is, though, on planet Earth?
Yeah,
It's literally just Iron Man, Captain America, and the Hulk, and Black Widow.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. It's
Those are the only superheroes in the MCU.
yeah,
Are Avengers.
yep, yeah, and everybody from here on out just wants to be an Avenger. I was like, come on, like you can't
Yeah,
even, you couldn't even like put like, oh, there used to be a team, you know, back in the day, or there used to be this, or like at least how Watchmen did, where it's like, no, there's a lineage to it, where it's just like, no, we
well,
just got these five guys, don't ask questions.
nah, I could see them being the first of the superheroes, but you should be introducing some superheroes now. It's time.
Well, that's I was like, well, that's part of the frustration. Like you said, like, hey, all right, we've done the Thanos thing, but like, yeah, like let's, that's my complaint with the Morbius and all the other stuff that we're trying to. If you're gonna get in the sandbox, play around, like do like let's see some stuff. Like, how do you have a Morbius movie and not, did they even mention Spider-Man in there? Like, it's like no,
Yeah, because at the end of it,
kind of a big deal.
well, they had a Spider-Man poster in the background of one of them. It was the Tobey
Woo!
Maguire Spider-Man. Yeah, and then at the end credit scene, if you remember, he met up with Vulture, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
it's the Spider-Man universe, and we're not. Hey, I know you're a vampire guy, but there's also a guy who calls himself Spider-Man, and he flies around the city a lot. Like that's kind of his thing.
okay, so let's just change the names to fit the crime here, folks. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I'm going to use Nick and myself to explain it. So you see, there was this guy. He was Spider-Man by day, and Spider-Man by night, and Adam Smith by day, and he had this friend named Nick Mott, who was a brilliant teacher, but he had a debilitating disease that was killing him. He accidentally turned himself into a vampire. Now these guys know each other. They've known each other a long time. They go back to we used to say it in school. We go back to Nam, man, and we would say that because we respected Nam vets big time. So yeah, they were really great friends. Now in the movie Morbius, this is my analogy. There's no Peter Parker at all. He's got no friends. He's got one friend who goes nuts and tries to kill him.
If you didn't know this was the Spider-Verse, you would have no idea. You would, if it didn't have the Marvel logo, the Marvel thing at the beginning, you wouldn't know this was even a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I that movie was better than Thor, um, and I liked it, but I liked it because they made a really great comic book movie from the year 2004.
They found this movie. It was just sitting around for a decade.
Well, I mean, if this were 2004, I'd be floored. I'd be like, they're finally doing it right. I would be. They're finally giving these characters fucking. Oh my god, Jared Leto's so awesome.
Imagine where we're going to be in 2022.
Yeah.
We're going to have flying cars and stuff. Damn it.
That's so weird that you said that. I just watched a whole monologue about the flying car from Clerks 2. It was funny. Today I watched that.
My favorite memes are the ones from like in like 1960. Imagine what we're going to have in 2022. It's like, oh, bunch of kids on their phones. Flying cars. No, just more drama.
I'd like to be an old man in like say like I'd be 70 years old, something like that, and interview somebody who's like 25 years younger than I am and ask them about their childhood, or even somebody's 35 years younger than I am and ask them what was fun about it. And I'm wondering what the fuck they're going to say.
Oh, I remember.
Because I can tell you He-Man right off the top of my head.
I remember I was sitting down and my dad and I were both watching the History Channel. We were watching the same program, but I was watching my room. He was watching his. I came out and I just looked at him as he was watching the show. And it was about the 60s. I think it's something about the 60s or something about Vietnam. And, it was all these things that happened. And I remember just watching him as he was watching the show and just realized we were watching it so completely differently because I was learning.
Yeah.
And I asked him and I'm like, and I mentioned it to us. I was like, I'm learning and you're remembering. He's like, yeah. I was like, we were watching the same thing, but we were coming from completely different.
That's pretty cool.
Completely different avenues where I was like learning about this. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I was like, well, I was in Nam for that, so yeah, I was like you are complete. You were watching it. We were watching the same show, but you were watching it completely differently than I'm watching it.
Absolutely.
So the whole thing is like, oh yeah, and then this, and then he'd go off on a tangent, and then this happened, and then this happened because this happened, and this happened. Oh, like I never had those types of conversations with him where we're like you said, like so that was 30, so he's 36 years older than I was, and just like I remember having conversations about like playing hockey when we were younger where I'd go buy pads. He's like, we took magazines and wrapped them around our taped them to our shins. That's what we did. I was like, that's awful. And this, silly things like, during the winter time, he put bread bags over his feet instead of, buying better boots. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, it does the same thing. I was like, technically, I guess.
I don't think so.
I was like, or you could get, winter boots, but who am I?
Did you ever have to wear the bread bags?
Oh, I think, yeah, I think I did that. I'm sure I did, but I think I did something different. I remember I tried that for my first year covering football, and it was the coldest fall I've ever remembered. And so, like, doing football games, I mean, you're literally, if you're doing camera, this is how you stand. I was standing like this for 3 hours, and I got to the point where I had 2 pairs of gloves on, and then I put like plastic bags over my hands just because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, you can only put on so many pairs of gloves before like there's you can't do your job anymore because you're still doing this and trying to follow the action. But it was so cold, and what had happened is the bags worked for the first half, but once it got really cold, what happened is the sweat on my hands just froze, and like my hands just completely froze, and I'm 90% sure I got some type of frostbite from that did. Because ever since then it doesn't do it so much anymore. But like anytime there's any type of cold spell and it hits my hands, like my hands would just ache, like just shooting pain. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, yeah. I bet. I mean, crazy.
Yeah,
Just crazy.
that was freaking 20 years ago, because that was 2002. That was the first year I covered football.
Oh shit.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Thor Love and Thunder.
Thor Love and Thunder. Um
Let's do
it's funny.
let's do this. And I wanted, it's something I kind of meant to do before on the last show, but I don't think we did not any shade on you. I just don't think we did as good of a job as we could have with the depiction of Gore from the comics versus the movie. So in the movie, Gore basically comes across a sword, and I forget, is it the necro sword, or
Yeah, the Necro Sword.
necro sword? So it's a sword, and he actually uses it to kill. I don't even know the name of the guy, but it's the guy that he was praying to. And then how he actually gets it in the comic is two of the gods that are battling, they actually crash in front of him, and he kind of picks up, it looks like a rock, and then it starts to take over, and it turns out it's a symbiote, and it's the symbiote from Null. And so an ancient symbiote power. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. I'll share my screen just so you guys don't think I'm making any stuff up. All right, so the first symbiote, all black, an ancient amorphous weapon originating from the evil Null. It left Null when he became incapacitated and bonded itself to Gore, who becomes imbued with its superhuman powers, including flight, as well as increased strength and durability. From Gore's thoughts, he can mold the shape-shifting symbiote to form armor around his body and produce weapons which are limited only by his thoughts. One of the weapons, all black metal sword, extends from his arms and is made from within his heart. He also provides him with the ability to regenerate. So, not quite the same weapon that we had in there. You know what the his creations reminded me of? It reminded me of the darkness, kind of.
Yeah.
Little bit. So, and also, so we go on here. Gods are the one true enemy. Gore has had numerous encounters with Thor Odinson, aka Thor. So he doesn't just run into Thor but one time in
Oh
the comic
no.
book. He runs into him numerous times. And so, in the movie, Thor has no idea who this god is. He's wondering why, these gods are showing up dead, and why all these people are, why all these prayers are going unanswered. So he actually has several encounters with them over the centuries. So, one encounter in particular where he nearly lost his life teaches him that his dreams are still possible, that he has something to live for, which is to kill all the gods. He claims he has slain gods of jealousy, death, war, fear, chaos, poetry, and flowers. And Adam, how many gods does he kill in the movie? That you see him? One. He kills one god.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The god at the beginning.
Other than that, it's all distress calls.
Yeah. And
Did you notice their reference to Christ in the movie?
I did. I totally did, and I wasn't. And I'm like,
The God of carpentry.
yes, because that's one of those. I looked. I went, did they just do that?
Did they just nod to Christians and say, "Hey, hi, welcome to the show"?
And this is one of been. Spoiler: I'm a Christian. I've always
Did your wife know?
Yes, it's her fault. Uh, I've always had this kind of relationship with my faith and my entertainment. With Harry Potter, keep our name out of your mouth. I don't care. Marvel movies, keep your name out of your mouth. I don't care. And especially in the comics, I don't know if they've ever referenced, Christianity or Jesus in the same realm as Thor. Not that I know of. Has it happened? Possibly. Like I said, not an expert. But I've always had the thing, hey, just don't cross that boundary. And they gave a little bit of a wink and a nod. I was like, okay, yeah, because when Valkyrie goes, oh look, the god of
God of
carpentry, and
carpentry.
I go, did she just do that? Okay.
You know, I doofusly disagree, and this is why. I had this innocent type thought in my head. I'm like, why don't they ever put Jesus in something? Why don't they ever acknowledge him? Nobody asks him for help. He's right there. All you gotta do is get a handsome actor to play him. That's how I was as a kid
Right.
growing up. Before I realized it's a political and it's all this it's this big deal. And it would be a big deal if it was any religious figure really up
Sure.
there. Um
Well, that's why I've always, hey, let's just and that's
but
part of
before
the
I
issue.
knew all that, I was
Right.
like, what are you trying to say? He's not real?
Yeah, I would say let's just keep all that out. And it used to be, hey, let's keep the religion and the modern politics out of the entertainment. Well, now one of those is thriving in our entertainment, which is unfortunate. But I've always had, and like you said, I've always, you're a little naive as to how
Sure, sure. Well, I was
you know
oh my god.
when what goes in your home doesn't mean it goes in anyone else's home, and what people think isn't what you think. Well, those things that happens when you get out and actually talk to people.
Right.
Yeah, so I could, and that's why, especially once you become a person of faith, I was like, no, I don't need Jesus and everything. That's okay. I'd rather you actually don't even talk about it because you're probably going to say something stupid. So I'd rather you just don't even go there, and that's fine. So, but I did 100% go, did you just do that? Okay.
Yeah. No, I was totally cool with it.
I wink and nod. Okay, fine. No big deal. So, all right.
But you know what? I mean, it just felt like a hello, welcome to the show.
Yes. Yeah, but it is one of those like, okay, they acknowledged it. They acknowledged the god the god in the room, if you will.
Well, I
Uh,
wonder how many other, excuse me, real gods they acknowledged. Not real gods, but you know what I'm saying.
right.
And that I don't know about. I'm like, well, okay,
Yeah,
well,
I have not read all the Thor comics as it turns out.
but yeah, no, I'm just saying. I wonder like which ones that they pulled out of history and whatever.
Well,
You know,
and that's why I always kind of appreciate it because it's like, okay, we're just gonna go with the the Viking, the gods of mythology, and not really tackle or really step on the toes of modern day religions. So, but even though there was plenty of ancient gods in the pantheon with Zeus, I did notice that. So, some ancient like Mayans and Aztec gods and stuff.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Excuse me. All right. So, getting back to the history of Gore here. Gore spent the next thousands of years torturing and butchering gods and creating an army of black berserkers. I couldn't remember the black berserkers for some reason. When Gore attacked the god Kronux, he claimed he claimed the pool of forevers used it to travel through the time stream, arriving in various times. He went back to the start of the universe to slay one of the first elder gods, and then far in the future of the desolate earth, 14412, where he enslaved all the gods except for the All-Father Thor, aka King Thor, whom he tormented for 900 years. Gore indentured the gods to construct a device to kill anyone of divinity known as the God Bomb. So, what they essentially use as the God Bomb in the movie is they, and I think I heard someone say that the character Eternity is a actual Marvel character, and basically they need the Stormbreaker to use its own use of Bifrost to get to Eternity to get make one wish, and his wish was going to be to kill all the gods. So that's kind of the way they were going to do the God Bomb. Is the way I took it.
Yeah. Really, the God Bomb. You could really describe it as that's no moon.
That's a God Bomb.
Yeah. Just over there by that small moon. That's no moon. The Death Star. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, they took serious liberties. I will say this about Gore. You know, if Christian Bale hadn't played him, this watered down version of Gore the God Butcher wouldn't have been a quarter of as good.
No.
My personal opinion here, I liked Bale in the movie. I think if it looked like he fell short at other times, it was the people around him. He was acting, you know,
Well,
like serious acting.
yeah, and that's one of the things. God, like I said, getting back to the joke a minute where so one of the times that Thor was talking to the children and Valkyrie's tickling his nose while he's trying to talk to the kids, through the
That did not need to be.
no, it should God, like can we take like anything serious in this freaking show? Like at all? Like is there we're just gonna completely like you said, it's stuff that like you would see in a blooper reel.
Right.
Like, are we just gonna fuck off like this entire movie? Yes.
Exactly.
The answer is yes. Yes, we're not gonna take anything seriously. Nothing's going to be serious, including the one character who's got terminal cancer. Okay, cool. I wish I'd known that. Well, it's now I didn't know it. And that's part of the problem with having Taika Waititi attached to so many future projects between Marvel and Star Wars, where it's like, oh,
Oh, yeah, that's going to be your main man for a while, bro.
he's the hot name, and he's signed on for a lot of stuff. And after this movie, I just went, oh shit.
All right.
So,
Well, yeah, I don't know.
all right, Adam, let's do this. What are you giving this movie? How many hammers are you giving Thor Love and Thunder?
Four.
Out of 10.
Four.
4 out of 10?
Yeah.
You said you liked it. You're only giving it 4.
I liked it, but I can't say, like, if you want me to rate it as far as, like, a good MCU movie, I'm talking about as, like, movies go.
Right.
I mean,
So as far as
I can't.
MCU, but
Okay, here's the thing. I can't give it anything above a 4 because honestly, it just was like I said earlier. I walked out feeling good. I was having a weird day anyway. I walked out feeling good. I walked out feeling entertained. I thought there was a lot of things that were neat about it. Like there are a lot of things that are endearing about it. But at the end of the day, is it a good MCU movie? No. Okay, so and I'll bring this back to Wonder Woman 1984. Everything I just said about Wonder Woman 19, I like that movie. Everything I said about it applies to this Thor movie. Is it a good DCEU movie? It's not. And I won't make excuses for a bad script. But I will say, if you're a big fan of this stuff and you detach yourself and you laugh, if you have that possibility, you might like it. If not, probably not. It is a 4, though, in my opinion. And the reason I'm giving it a 4 is because I walked away from the movie feeling good, and I cried at the end.
there you go. And I'm kind of there with you as far as score. I'll give it just to be different, I'll give it a 3 because it didn't advance the story. It took nothing seriously. That's one thing as a comic book fan when it comes to our properties. And I say our because I feel like as a fan, I take ownership of the things that I like. I want the things that we love taken seriously, and this movie was not serious in any way, shape, or form.
No.
And that's where I get frustrated. Where I was like, at least treat the shit somewhat seriously. Like at least act like you give a damn. And I can't say that they did that. So, a lot of the same reasons. Hey, did this advance the story? Yeah. Did I enjoy my movie going experience? Yes, I did. I had fun because I like to go out with my wife and some friends, and we had a good time.
But the movie didn't contribute that
But
to your fun.
yeah. I love going to the movies. I love it. That's one of my wife and I's favorite things to do is to go to the movies and have a good time.
Yeah, I love it.
That being said, that it's kind of one of those things where like my wife's sort of coming over to the dark side, if you will, to my side, where she had one of her favorite shows just wrap up the Umbrella Academy, and then she's talking to her one friend that we went to the movie with, and they just want to go. They just want to, at our theater, you can have a couple drinks. If you want to, have a couple alcoholic beverages, that's fine. They just want to go and have fun. They like the MCU. They don't care so much for the comics and all that stuff. I'm a
They don't
little.
care what's going on. They're like, let's have a good time. Let's have some
Let's
drinks.
just go have fun, consume product. And then she's just like, and she was talking to her friends. She's like, "Oh, what do you think of the Umbrella Game?" She's like, "Oh, I love it." She's like, "How? like,
Right.
see, that's what happens when you sort of start thinking critically of things that you like, and you don't like when people start messing with stuff that you like. It's not cool. And I think, like I said, Disney's track record right now is not on an upward trend. Everything's kind of going down. I mean, all you have to do is look at their stock, and that'll tell you that. So, hey, I was being honest. So, all right, Adam, let's get into some fun stuff. Let's get into toys.
All right, we're rolling, huh? We're doing this. Okay, let's do it. Toys. Well, did you buy it?
Buy what?
The Hiss?
Not yet.
You didn't buy it yet. Okay.
No.
Well, it's fully funded, buddy.
Yeah. Damn it.
It's fully funded now.
But guess what's not fully funded?
The lightsaber by the lady.
Yeah. So, one of the things is not like the other. So, let's see here. So, I know we talked about last show, but the Cobra Hiss is now, it's doubled its target at over 16,000. See, this number just keeps climbing. It was just over 16,100 something earlier today, over 16,300 now. And now you get all the goodies
with it.
All right, there, that's the good stuff. There we go. All right, so you get the. Let's just do quick things. So I know you were surprised how big this thing is.
I want one now.
So the total height is almost 11 inches. It's 10.96 inches.
Man.
It's 19 inches long, and this is to the. They call it 6-inch scale, but it's almost 6.5-inch figures. So it's got the.
I quit.
It's got so many cool things. It's got golly, look at that cockpit. It's so freaking cool.
I said I quit, Nick.
All right, so
I'm kidding. No, show me the cockpit. Show me the cack.
Yeah, see the cack pit. Let's see here. So
wow, look at the. What do you call that again? The turret seat.
Yeah. So the turret and everything, even the. So this is going to get replaced. So even the not the usual. I'm gonna scroll down because I'm having trouble remembering things right now. So upgrade number 1, you unlock the removable side-mounted missile racks. These things are cool. They extend, and then see just like that. Upgrade 2 was the canopy. That's the word I was trying to find. The canopy, and then the side panels here you get to put over the treads, and then 3. Wait. Yeah, 3 was the weapons, accessory pack, and Hiss gunner action figure. So get these guns. Golly, this thing's we have so much stuff on it's gonna be borderline obnoxious. And then you get a figure, and then upgrade number 4, unlock 6-inch scale retro cardback Cobra Commander action figure. Excellent. I just want that. That's
Look
what I
at
need
that.
in my life.
And they don't make that without this?
This is one of the throw-ins. I bet this was going to be like a special issue, like a pre-order, but since Hish just wrecked everything, because they don't even have a mock-up of it yet. It's literally just that these are diagrams.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is what's going to happen. Okay, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be some idiot executive. It's going to look at this and say, "That's where we messed up. We need to do vehicles. Vehicles are the thing. Hey, I got an idea. How about the A-Team's van?"
Yeah, I don't
And
know
that's how you get a Riva lightsaber. That's how you get a Riva lightsaber. I'm serious.
how how you get a Riva lightsaber is, hey, we have this character that we're just going to push really hard, and if you don't like her, we're going to call you racist. Good idea, morons. Because the I don't even think they have it on here. So the Reva lightsaber, dude, it didn't even come
Yeah, they
close.
just pulled it.
It was they needed 5,000 the last I checked. And okay, so not to say we were on this train earlier, but we were pretty early on this train at noticing that when they uh first kind of released it kind of quietly, and they had about just over 1,000 backers. The goal was 5,000. I think they didn't even make 1,500, and if they did, it was just barely.
Yeah.
So this thing that thing didn't even come close.
Well,
And
they're gonna have things that people don't want. It's just I don't understand why that was one of them. I don't
well,
you don't know that nobody wants that right now. I mean,
and like you said, it's choices here. And as I've said before, you said before, look, fans don't mess with fans. That's one of the reasons that we started the show was don't mess with fans because we will mess with you back. Once again, this is a good idea. The Riva lightsaber for $500 was a bad idea. If they had just called that just the Inquisitor lightsaber, I
right?
guarantee they if they wouldn't have gotten funded, it would have gotten way more.
Yeah, it definitely would have made more sense.
So yeah, this thing is just a beauty. Look at that. Oh yeah. Look at the detail. Like that's the stuff like all the gauges and all the
Oh, it was so fun.
controls. You know how
Oh,
tiny that is? Look, you can
yeah,
actually read. It actually says cruise in there. It's got you can read the numbers. It's not they didn't get lazy with it. See this that's part of the thing too. Like I can read all these little things that are on the gauges. I can read that says temp and it actually has a temperature degree. I can see it says cruise. I can see like the detail is one of those things that geez, it's just one of the biggest problems that I have with the Black Series, Star Wars Black Series, is the attention to detail. And I realize, obviously, this toy is at a premium, but like, even look at the harness. Holy moly! Like that is detail. Like you don't see very much. And I know you're paying for it, but you know what? It's freaking worth it on this thing. I don't care who you are.
yeah. You're gonna get two figures all together with it too.
Well, that's the thing. It's thing. So if you were one of those lucky enough to get in, I think it was just before the 6th.
Yeah,
Then you got these guys as well.
you got all of them.
Yeah.
Really?
So that was an early bird special offering Cobra His Tactician action figure inspired by Ron Rudet's design. So if
So you
you
only
were,
got one of them, but but you didn't get them all.
let's see here. So the Baroness is fond of remind me that insipid platitude of the early bird hitting the worm. Blah 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 blah. Everyone who backs the His Hazla project through the end of the campaign will receive Cobra His Tactician figure with deco inspired by the designs of legendary G.I. Joe designer Ron Rudat, the very man who put me Destro in an iron mask. So I don't know if you might get one of these. I don't know if you're getting.
I think it's a one.
I don't know, but I have not done a HasLab yet, pre-order yet. So the only one I've done is the NECA.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
NECA
Turtles.
yeah, the turtle band. So,
Wow.
um, But yeah, if you got in before the 6, you got one of these guys. It looks like so. But if not, then you get. Sorry, the not saying Cobra Commander's worth the price alone, but that figure's gonna be freaking cool. And then that figure's cool too. So,
You know how much that figure is going to shoot up?
dude, I told you the story about when we went to Comic Con. I saw the Razor Crest. That was what
Oh, sure, yeah.
was that 350 uh for
Yeah.
pre-order, and then at our local Comic Con it was $900. It's like if you're one of those who can swing it, swing it. I'm not. I am not the biggest fan of scalpers, if if you will. But hey, when it comes to secondary market stuff, if you paid the money, you can sell it for whatever you want. So I just don't like people who go into stores and buy all the toys. But when it comes to pre-orders, pre-order was a minimum of or a 5 hiss limit. You had $1,500 sitting around for some hiss, and you can easily double your money. Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
If and I just say double your money because that's low end what these go for on secondary.
yeah,
Probably triple your money.
I have to admit, I mean, I hit the big game, I'd be in on this stuff. No problem.
Yeah, we were talking about credit cards earlier. If I had the room on my credit card, I'm not. That might have to be a justification made to the wife, but yeah.
Yeah. Very good, Nick. Very good.
I'm just saying that might have been the play. So, but Adam, I did buy some toys recently.
You did. What you got?
Hold on.
Ooh! Oh shit!
I got me the Thor Ragnarok, and I did it. I started doing it, and you can see why. Right there. Wait.
Is it just one key you're hitting?
What's that?
Are you just hitting one key?
I got to pull up the. It's got the react thing.
I think you gotta press it a little faster, Nick.
Well, I try when I press it twice, it stops it. So I gotta. I'm not good at this. Oh.
Are you supposed to tap it, or is it?
No, well, as soon as you. All right, so we use Melon for our streams here.
Yeah.
And it's got a cool little thing where you pop it up and it gives you some things that you can do for some sound effects. So if you hit it once, it plays it, but if you hit it again really quick, it stops it. So you can't do that. You can't be obnoxious with the because that's just not how it's going to go. So, but anyway, so I picked up the Thor Ragnarok figure. This is one of the few ones where I picked up. I saw the pre-order for at Target. I think that's a Target exclusive.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I got to get me
clearance too, huh?
No, well, no, the Lady Jade, that's a different story. But this Thor Ragnarok, this just came out. It's got the spinny hammer thing. I love that look to it. This Lady J, I've been talking about getting into the G.I. Joe action figure game. The reason I did is because, as it turns out, I was wondering why so many things were on sale. And it turns out it's the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, so everybody's trying to, clearance and make some money. So.
Well, they're dumping everything, and they're getting ready for the new stuff.
Yeah. They're whatever excess stock they've got or whatever sold, and as you can see, whatever is damaged, it's not selling. They're just trying to get rid of. And pro tip: if you are a GameStop member, it's the first of the month or early part of the month where you get the $5 credit. That Lady J cost.
I think we're losing you a bit, Nick.
The Lady J, I say Lady J costs about $10 with the GameStop credit. So
very cool. I would have to get up and show you the figure that I bought, and I don't want to keep you hanging that long because it's kind of anticlimactic. But I will show you this.
So, and I do have a Zartan on the way from GI Joe. That's one of the things, Adam, I realize is GI Joe has a huge list of characters, such a huge list of characters that I totally forgot about as I got older. But I'm like, oh, that guy. Oh, and that guy. Oh, and that guy. I'm like, ah, crap.
Be careful going on eBay, buddy.
That's where I got it from. So,
all right, I'll share my screen here real quick.
all right.
Let me
Gimme.
Oh, there it is. Emian. Stop it. Cut it out, will you? Screen.
So, yeah. So I'm fairly reasonably in right now with the GI Joes, but
can you see my screen?
I can't. It's tiny.
Oh, you can't see that guy? Too big?
I can. It's just little.
Yeah. It's not much bigger pics, I don't think. Let's see. This is the 19. This is the vintage Stridor, but they made the new one. It's a copy of that, just a little better. So I bought Stridor last night for my Fisto because Fisto always came with Stridor before. And it's an Origins Stridor, but the Masterverse figure fits just fine and it looks good. So I always was a fan of the robotic horse. In the episode that this was in, at the end of it, he wanted to be free, and they dubbed him like a living being because only living beings want to be free. Yeah, so that's
Woo!
That's good old Stridor from Masters of the Universe, but that's a $40. That's $40 toy. You know how much I paid?
Wow.
$15.
I was gonna say $40 because was that the anticlimactic part that you paid?
Well, you're gonna be like, "You okay? It's a robot horse, Adam. It's a robot horse." So you made us wait so you could get a robot horse.
But people who remember it, I was like, it brought back a little memory. I was like, oh yeah. I don't know if I had that toy or not. But
I had Stridor. Yeah, dude. I love my Stridor. But long story short, though, I don't know. You interrupted me and made me lose my train of thought.
Because I'm a jerk.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. No, it's never okay to be a jerk. What am I saying? So yeah, $15. It was on clearance. It was the last one they had.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, so if you are looking for at least to get a decent, now's the time to look at Target, GameStop. I haven't checked over at Walmart to see if they've got any deals going, but now's the time to look. So
one other thing, I don't know if the sale's still going on, the clearance sale's still going on, but if you're interested in the Batman Multiverse 12-inch statue of the Riddler, it's like $15 too, or $12.
Well, yeah, a lot of those McFarlane Batman figures. Those are you can get a deal on those right now.
Yeah, they're getting them out.
And the McFarlane Batman 66 figures, I saw they had Penguin, Eartha Kitt, and any of the Riddler and Batman.
I thought you were going to say you saw the Mr. Freeze and the
no
Julie Newmar. I was like, don't say that. I have the other ones, and I don't want the boxing ones. So
yeah, Julie Newmar was the only one that they had one, but she wasn't on sale.
I'm sorry, they had a Julie Newmar.
Yeah, but it wasn't on sale.
They had one.
I believe so.
And you didn't think to call.
Of all the times I didn't think so. I was like,
you didn't see one. You're screwing with me.
I don't know. I may have been.
As much as I talk about Julie Newmar, you'd have seen that. You'd have noticed. I gotta have some kind of faith in you.
Anything with Batman, I assume you've got on pre-order. That's the problem.
I'll cancel the pre-order if I can have it today.
If I happen to see it and it's because it wasn't there. I don't know, because we went back yesterday and I took a look. So
yeah, it probably. Hopefully, yeah, I do have it on pre-order. God, I can't wait for that. That and the Villain's Lair and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's holy moly. I barely got enough room for the Bat Cave and all that. I have to make another shelf just for the villains.
So did I. I put it up already.
So,
Waiting for him to get here.
all right, my friend. I think we have had enough fun for tonight. So,
Yeah, we did.
and which, AKA, I'm hungry and have to go eat dinner.
Me too, because that burrito didn't do much.
So, but thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. Like I said, none of our reviews are meant to sway you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If you are enjoying something, we don't. If you disagree with us, that's perfectly okay. Because you know what? It's okay to have a different opinion from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not a common thing to actually, have a totally different opinion from someone that you have, and be okay with it. It's okay because that's how life used to be. You just didn't agree on everything. So, uh, so don't take our word as gospel. If you liked it, tell us why you like it. If you didn't like it, let us know why you didn't like it, and you can leave those comments at The Escape with Nick and Adam. We are on Facebook and Instagram, and obviously we have a YouTube channel. So if you like what we're doing here, give us a like and subscribe. If you don't like what we're doing, you can still leave a comment, and I mean we'll read it, but we'll probably disagree with you. But anyway, and if you want to take us with you wherever you go, you can download our podcast on Spotify at The Escape with Nick and Adam. I'm a little bit behind on episodes, so I got to get those up. But I want to thank everyone who likes it, or all our subscribers that we have right now. Thank you so much for all the love and all that you do for us. And Adam, anything else you want to add? Sir?
Yeah, a little bit of we're gonna call it the this is appropriate to be funny game contest, whatever. You don't win anything. We'll give you a shout out. That's about it right now. That's all we can afford, right? Okay, so this is where this is appropriate to be funny. I want all you guys out there to post in the comment section below a picture or a link to your best Big Johnson T-shirt from the '90s design. Leave that in there. We pick a winner, and we'll give you a shout out. Shit, I mean, we're local. We'll ask you on the show. Other than that, love you. And this is real. This is real. This is real.
Yes, the old Big Johnson shirts from the 90s.
Yeah, I'm sure you could Google image it, put your favorite design up there. Tell us why it's your favorite. You know,
yeah,
maybe it reminds you of a family member.
But please don't send us a picture of your actual Johnson. You can send those to Adam.
No, you can't.
No. All right, that's enough. All right, thanks guys so much, and we'll see you next time.
So long, Planet Houston.
Night, America.